The debate surrounding LIV Golf has rarely lacked intensity, but moments like Jon Rahm's dominant victory at the 2026 LIV Golf Mexico City event, and the pratikriya that followed, have only added more fuel to an already blazing fire. At the center of it all are two prominent figures: Jon Rahm, one of the most accomplished players of his generation, and Brandel Chamblee, one of the sport's most outspoken critics of the Saudi-backed tour. Rahm's performance in Mexico City was, by any objective standard, exceptional. Playing at the historic Club de Golf Chapultepec, he delivered a bogey-free final round of 7 under 64, showcasing precision, control, and the kind of composure expected from a major champion. From the outset, Rahm made his intentions clear. A birdie on the second hole got him into rhythm, and what followed was a statement of dominance, an eagle on the third hole that effectively blew the tournament open before many of his competitors had even settled in. By the time Rahm reached the turn, he had already built a commanding lead. Additional birdies on the front nine ensured that any realistic challenge from the field would require something extraordinary. But no such challenge materialized. Rahm maintained his consistency on the back nine, avoiding mistakes and managing the course with clinical efficiency. When the final putt dropped, he stood at 21 under par, a full 6 shots clear of the field. The victory earned him $4 million and marked his second LIV Golf title of the 2026 season, as well as his fourth individual win on the circuit overall. It was a wire-to-wire triumph, the kind that typically silences critics, at least temporarily. But in this case, the criticism came swiftly, sharply, and without hesitation. Shortly after Rahm's win, Chamblee took to social media and delivered a pointed remark that quickly made headlines. He beat players who sacrificed their careers to play on a tour that was hotter cooked than eaten. Just 11 words, but packed with implication. As has often been the case since LIV Golf's inception in 2022, Chamblee didn't elaborate further. He didn't need to. His stance was already well known. Chamblee's criticism of Rahm dates back to December 2023, when Rahm made the high-profile decision to leave the PGA Tour and join LIV Golf. At the time, the move shocked the golf world. Rahm, a former Masters champion and one of the sport's most consistent performers, had been seen as a cornerstone of the PGA Tour's future. His departure was viewed by some as a turning point in the ongoing battle between traditional golf institutions and the disruptive LIV model. On the night of Rahm's announcement, Chamblee didn't hold back. Appearing on Golf Channel, he argued that Rahm had effectively traded a potentially billion-dollar legacy on the PGA Tour for a guaranteed, but ultimately smaller, financial package. To Chamblee, the decision wasn't just about money, it was about competitive integrity, legacy, and the long-term value of achievement in the sport. Since then, Chamblee has remained consistent in his critique. His argument has evolved beyond Rahm as an individual and extended to LIV Golf as a whole. In late 2025, when Brooks Koepka made headlines for returning to the PGA Tour after a stint with LIV, Chamblee framed the move as evidence of the league's shortcomings. He suggested that players who had the option to return would ultimately choose to do so, interpreting it as an implicit admission that LIV had failed to meet expectations. A key component of Chamblee's argument has been viewership and fan engagement. In April 2026, he pointed to television ratings from LIV's 2025 season finale, an event won by Rahm, which reportedly drew just 55,000 viewers during prime time. For Chamblee, those numbers were telling. He contrasted them with PGA Tour ratings, arguing that audiences gravitate toward events they perceive as meaningful and competitive. From his perspective, Rahm's victory in Mexico City did little to change that narrative. Instead of focusing on the quality of Rahm's play, Chamblee zeroed in on the level of competition, suggesting that success in LIV events does not carry the same weight as victories on more established tours. Entering Augusta National, Rahm was expected to contend. As a former champion and one of the game's elite players, he carried high expectations. However, his opening round quickly derailed those hopes. Shooting a 78 without recording a single birdie, Rahm found himself 6 over par and well off the pace set by leaders including Rory McIlroy and Sam Burns. The performance raised eyebrows and, for critics like Chamblee, reinforced existing concerns. Speaking on Golf Channel, Chamblee argued that Rahm's game had declined since joining LIV. He suggested that the reduced intensity and competitive depth of the LIV circuit may have contributed to a loss of sharpness among its players. In his view, the environment simply does not replicate the week-to-week pressure of the PGA Tour or major championships. Rahm, however, rejected that narrative. After his second round at Augusta, he addressed the media and downplayed the significance of his poor opening round. He described it as an anomaly, a day when everything that could go wrong went wrong. It was a reminder that even the best players in the world are not immune to off days. Despite the rough start, Rahm managed to steady himself over the following rounds. He made the cut and ultimately finished tied for 38th at 1 over par. While far from a title challenge, it was a respectable recovery given the circumstances. Still, the contrast between his Masters performance and his subsequent dominance in Mexico City became a focal point of discussion. Within just 5 days, Rahm had gone from struggling at Augusta to completely overpowering at LIV Field. For supporters, this showcased his resilience and ability to bounce back quickly. For critics, it raised questions about the level of competition he faced in LIV events. Rahm's performance in Mexico City was undeniably impressive. Leading after 54 holes, he entered the final round with a narrow advantage but quickly extended it through aggressive yet controlled play. His closing 64 was not just his lowest final round when leading in a LIV event, it was a statement. It demonstrated that he could handle the pressure of front-running and convert opportunities into victories. Yet Chamblee remained unconvinced. Rather than addressing the specifics of Rahm's performance, he returned to his central argument, that the environment in which Rahm is competing does not provide the same level of challenge as traditional tours. By framing the competition as lacking, Chamblee effectively dismissed the significance of the win. This ongoing back and forth highlights a broader tension within professional golf. LIV Golf has disrupted the sport's traditional structure, offering guaranteed contracts, smaller fields, and a different competitive format. For some players, the appeal is clear: financial security, reduced schedules, and new opportunities. For others, including critics like Chamblee, these changes come at the cost of competitive integrity and historical significance. The question at the heart of the debate is simple, yet difficult to answer. How should success in LIV golf be measured? For Rahm, the answer appears straightforward. He has consistently defended his decision to join LIV, emphasizing that the tour still demands high levels of preparation and performance. His results, multiple wins and consistent contention, support the idea that he remains one of the best players in the world. However, the comparison with performances in major championships and PGA Tour events complicates the narrative. Golf is a sport where context matters deeply. A victory is not judged solely by the score but by the field, the conditions, and the stakes. This is where the divide between supporters and critics of LIV becomes most apparent. Rahm's Mexico City victory, coming so soon after his Masters struggles, serves as a case study in this debate. Is it evidence of his ability to rebound and dominate? Or does it highlight a disparity in competitive intensity between different tours? There is no consensus, at least not yet. What is clear is that figures like Chamblee will continue to scrutinize performances on LIV, while players like Rahm will continue to defend their choices through results. The conversation is unlikely to fade anytime soon, especially as more players move between tours and the landscape of professional golf continues to evolve. In the end, Rahm's win in Mexico City stands as both an achievement and a talking point. It underscores his undeniable talent and ability to perform at a high level. At the same time, it reignites questions about the nature of competition, the value of victories, and the future direction of the sport. For fans, analysts, and players alike, the debate is far from settled. And as long as performances like Rahm's continue to spark strong reactions, it may never be.